Here we have part 3 of Pearse's murder machine. I begin. I postulate that there is no education in Ireland apart from the voluntary efforts of a few people, mostly mad. Let us therefore not talk of reform or of reconstruction. You cannot reform that which is not. You cannot by any process of reconstruction give organic life to a negation. In a literal sense, the work of the First Minister of Education in a free Ireland will be a work of creation. For out of chaos he will have to evolve order, and into a dead mass he will have to breathe the breath of life. The English thing that is called education in Ireland is founded on a denial of the Irish nation. No education can start with an ego, any more than a religion can. Everything that even pretends to be true begins with its credo. It is obvious that the savage who says, I believe in mumbo-jumbo, is nearer to true religion than the philosopher who says, I deny God and the spiritual in man. Now, to teach a child to deny is the greatest crime a man or state can commit. Certain schools in Ireland teach children to deny their religion. Nearly all the schools in Ireland teach children to deny their nation. I deny the spirituality of my nation. I deny the lineage of my blood. I deny my rights and responsibilities. This nego is their credo. This evil, their good. To invent such a system of teaching and to persuade us that it is an education system, an Irish education system to be defended by Irishmen against attack, is the most wonderful thing the English have accomplished in Ireland, and the most wicked. Now, obviously, he's talking in the early 20th century. And you can transpose or you can swap in for English or the English system, whatever name you want to put on the current system that's in play here. Some might hold the view that the English system maintained in Ireland and that you're seeing the fruits of that bear out today in terms of at least college systems, university systems, which are nearly mirrored on the English system. The legal system, the bar, is mirrored on the English sense of justice, or the English mechanism of justice, if you will. So what Pearse is alluding to here is that we begin on first principles. Who am I? I am a product of my mother and father, who are a product of their respective parents, and on, and you go, inverted tree. As you go higher, it expands outward. You're familiar with the image. That is who I am. That is what has brought me into the world, and that is what I bring into the world. So in order for me to pull the potential latent in myself out of myself and onto the world, I must start from a place of acceptance of who I am. And if you're being educated away from that, if you're being educated to look at your own history through one specific lens, whether it's totally positive or totally negative, you're denying the reality of your own history and your people's history, your parents' history, and on and on. So to start to begin with an already distorted view of who you are and where you came from, and to try and build education on top of that, to try and build a firm basis in knowledge, to have an efficiency or a clarity or a precision in your epistemology, is to build your house on sand, or to build your house in the shadow of a tree, sort of a thing. It is not sustainable, because ultimately the worldview that is given to you via your parents and on and on and on it goes back. This ripples through you. It doesn't have to be your total identity, but to deny that it has any sort of legacy in you is to avoid reality, so to speak. So if you're to try and build a sustainable or clear worldview on a distortion that is already in you, based on the denial of your own ancestry, the denial of the true value that you've been given and that you brought into this world, is to create a schism in your own mind, in your own world building, so to speak. So again, timeless words, because he's not speaking of systems of just rule here. He's speaking of the relationship between both, not just the relationship between the individual and the government or a state body, whatever it is. He's speaking of the differences in ethnic groups, even really, really closely related ethnic groups like the Irish, the Scottish, the English, and whatever Germans or French families come over from the continent. Okay, so that's what he's speaking of. The difficulty in trying to force one group's perspective, worldview, onto another, and the unsustainability of that worldview.